Am I the jerk for calling my husband a disgrace after he said my miscarriage ruined his birthday? I miscarried yesterday afternoon at about 12 p.m. I've never had a miscarriage before, and this baby was so wished for, so it's all so fresh. I'm sobbing right now, so I apologize in advance if this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My husband turned 27 yesterday. I, 26F, was pregnant with mine and my husband's, 27M, second child. Yesterday, I was 8 weeks pregnant. The day before, we saw a beautiful heartbeat flickering on the screen, and today I'm devastated. I was playing with our 2-year-old when I felt pressure in my lower abdomen. Not long after, I noticed bleeding, and I let my husband know immediately that I was experiencing discomfort and bleeding. Before long, I had passed what I believe was the fetus, and I messaged him, I think I lost the baby. I wanted to keep him updated, and I guess I was seeking some kind of emotional support. I asked if he could come home, and he said, of course, if it's urgent. I said I thought it was because the pain and bleeding were getting worse, and I was starting to feel lightheaded, and our 2-year-old was unattended in his playroom. We have no friends or family nearby that I could call who would get to us quicker than he could. I had to clean myself up, crawl downstairs to take paracetamol, make my son his lunch, and then put him down for a nap. At this point, my husband still wasn't home. He was working approximately 30 minutes away and took closer to 60 minutes to get back. Hours later, when I asked, it was because he'd stopped at Tesco to pick up some beers. I ended up very poorly, losing lots of blood, lightheaded, vomiting, etc., and he had to take me to A&E. By the time I was discharged, it was almost 8 p.m. Last week, I had said I'd make him his favorite dinner for his birthday, which he reminded me of when we were almost home. I said I wasn't feeling up to it and that whatever takeaway he wanted was on me. He said for F's sake under his breath and then muttered something along the lines of this bullcrap has ruined my birthday. He didn't stop to get any takeaway. He just drove straight home. He put our son to bed, and I went to bed. I'm not sure what he did after that. I didn't see him this morning as he had already left for work. He hasn't messaged me all day, and he got home a few hours ago. It's now 8:40 p.m., and he's been giving me the silent treatment. I tried to speak to him about an hour ago, and he ignored me, so I called him a disgrace. He slammed the bedroom door and locked me out. His mom has since messaged me and said I need to be patient, as he's also experienced a loss. She didn't ask how I was or anything. He's obviously speaking to his mom, but why isn't he opening up and speaking to me? She said I was harsh. I'm feeling utterly emotionally neglected right now. My body has been through emotional and physical hell. I understand that my miscarriage came at an effing inconvenient time for him, as it was his birthday and all. I'm not sure if it's the hormones making me feel crazy, but is it nuts to contemplate divorce? Am I the jerk for calling him a disgrace? /relevant comments. Commenter. I can't imagine spending another minute under the same roof as this horrible, immature, cruel man. Yes, the miscarriage of a wanted pregnancy can be a huge loss for a man, too, but that doesn't give him the right to be so selfish and treat you so cruelly. Your husband has shown a side of himself he can never hide again. Ask yourself if this is the kind of man you want in your life going forward. I'm so sorry for your loss. Commenter 2. He does not like her. His job is 30 minutes away, but it took him over an hour to get to her because he had to stop and get some beers? WTF, she could have bled out while her toddler was just left by himself. He doesn't deserve to have a wife or even a girlfriend since he's too selfish to care about a living person in need. I hope Bob has a male family member who can help give him something to really be upset about. That particular line made me mad for her. How dare he? I wish him the worst next 10 birthdays, may they be lonely, sad, and boring as hell. Leave a sorry bum, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Responding to a commenter who accused her story of being fake. I didn't mention anything about hearing a heartbeat. They don't listen to heartbeats through ultrasound here in England, they use Dopplers later on in the pregnancy. We saw the heartbeat flickering on the ultrasound after the technician smiled and pointed it out to us. By the sounds of things, you're lucky enough to have never been referred to a PAC for an early scan. I had a scan at 6 weeks and a scan at 8 weeks. You're kind of correct that the NHS does the first scan at 12 weeks, the dating scan. But unfortunately, not everyone has effing straightforward pregnancies. Don't pull apart my story and try to invalidate my effing miscarriage. I apologize for being short, but I had no sleep last night, I'm in so much pain, and then I picked up my phone to see a comment that my story is probably fake because some sheltered person has had the pleasure of not attending a PAC. Editor's note, posted proof of the miscarriage on her profile, which I am not showing here, and the commenter deleted his comment afterward. Commenter 3. You didn't have to post this, No one is doubting your experience, it makes sense. Coming from someone who was also dating a narcissist when they had a miscarriage and was also emotionally neglected by their partner, once you're well enough, get yourself and your son out of there. Focus on recovery, not on people trying to tear you down when you're going through a traumatic experience. Best of luck with everything. You can always private message me if you need. Update 5 days later. A kind Reddit user informed me that this is the best way to do an update, rather than adding a comment to my previous post, so hopefully this reaches the right people. I should have clarified in my original post from last week that the way my husband responded was completely out of character for him. He's usually a caring and supportive man and is a good husband and father. The only incident where he's shown any kind of red flags was when I put together an accent chair. I used a screwdriver to attach the legs to the seat, and when he came home from work and saw that I'd done it myself, he jumped on it until it broke to show that I didn't do it properly and that I should have waited for him to come home. He'd been under a lot of stress at work, so I asked him to go to therapy, which he did, instead of pulling the divorce card straight away. We have been together for 7 years in May, and he is the only partner I've ever known. My family all love him and have accepted him from day one. I also should have clarified, yes, I know he was the jerk in the scenario, I wasn't questioning that. What I was questioning was whether I took it a step too far in calling him a disgrace. He's going through a lot at work at the moment. It was his birthday. I'd been messaging him and telling him that I'd miscarried his child, and he had to leave work early. Then I called him a disgrace after he'd taken me to the hospital and was responding to the grief in his own way. I think the majority of people said I was not the jerk in this scenario and that, due to his behavior, my insult was justified. Thank you to everyone who reached out, checked in, offered condolences, and emotional support. I've read all my messages and tried to read most of the comments. Most of them have been very kind and useful and have helped a lot over the past few days. I had a scan yesterday which confirmed that everything has passed successfully. Some people may remember that I was very worried about retained tissue due to my fever over the weekend. Also, my tonsillitis has fully cleared up, so I'm feeling almost back to normal, physically. I left my husband. My son and I are staying with family in a different part of the country, so we are safe and managing. My husband did get very angry when I told him that I was leaving him. He tried to stop me from leaving with our son, put his hands on me, and threatened to end his life. My mom intervened, and like I said, we are safe. I have some time off work now, so I will continue to take time to recover emotionally and plan my next steps. Thank you if you've read this far. I doubt there will be any more updates after this. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. When he came home from work and saw that I'd done it myself, he jumped on it until it broke to show that I hadn't done it properly. That's what you're calling a kind of red flag. That was an insanely disproportionate and destructive response. I hope that after you settle down more, you'll find the time and financial means to attend therapy, for yourself and your son's sake. I have a feeling that you'll discover a lot more abusive behavior. You've now slotted into the usually he's kind and a good father category that you've excused because it wasn't as openly abusive as the chair and miscarriage incident. Best of luck, and I truly wish the best for you and your son in the future. Commenter 2. I'm glad you left him, but I am concerned you'll go back based on how this post is written. You are still speaking about him like he is a good husband and are justifying his behavior. Stop doing that. Make a therapy appointment for yourself. Ops response. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm trying to make it as fair as possible from both sides, so he's not made out to be a monster. I have a therapy session booked. I will not be returning to him, as he's not someone I want my son to grow up watching and witnessing that behavior, thinking it's normal. Commenter 3. He's not here to defend himself. This was a very hard lesson for me to learn after I left my ex, so I would like to offer you the advice my therapist offered me. It is not your job to be his defender. You are speaking your truth here and getting the emotional and mental support you need. Don't try to sugarcoat it. You don't really know why he does what he does. That is between him and his therapist. All you can do is be a true witness for yourself. What happened, happened. His reasoning or defense of his reasoning is immaterial to the healing you now need to do. How others feel about him due to how you relay your truth is not your responsibility. Commenter 4. I'm curious why people do things like breaking other people's belongings like that. I had made something I 3D printed, and a coworker said, "It looks flimsy," then took it somewhere I couldn't see and smashed it with a hammer. It was beyond a reasonable thing that would ever happen. In that moment, she seemed to have a narcissistic need, like I had somehow upstaged her, so she smashed my stuff out of jealousy. It baffles me. It was literally just like what your husband did, doing something intentionally beyond its normal use, just to destroy it. I read your post twice, And I think your husband is having a mental breakdown from work and has developed narcissistic personality disorder, probably from the stress. Ops response. I was thinking this. I was thinking that maybe he was having some kind of mental breakdown and our miscarriage was the final straw. He said that when he stopped at Tesco to get some beers, it was for both of us so we could drink our sorrows away. I was planning on getting him some help because he clearly needs it. He only acts insane when he's under immense pressure at work, genuinely. When he broke my chair, it was around a time of immense stress at work. But when he put his hands on me, he actually put his hands around my neck and was choking me, which is what is terrifying. I can't look at him the same, so I can't be the one to get him the help. I'm looking into full custody and solicitors so that I never have to see him again.